Atlanta is the proud home of the world's busiest airport, so it's only fitting that Atlanta Technical College and the ATL Airport Chamber collaborate on ways to ensure our students soar. I'm Yolanda Buford, Vice President of Economic Development and Community Engagement, and I'm honored to bear witness to the valuable work this organization leads in connecting people to the places they want to go and jobs in thriving industries. Founded over 70 years ago, the ATL Airport Chamber is dedicated to the promotion, development, and growth of businesses and professional activities within the airport area. And we could not be more than excited than to hear from Carmenlita Scott, who serves at the helm of the Chamber. On this episode of Atlanta Tech Talks, we'll discuss the value proposition of partnerships and explore the many ways ATC and the ATL Airport Chamber are taking the region to higher heights.
Welcome to Atlanta Tech Talks, where we highlight the college's people, partnerships, collaborations, and programs that help move Atlanta and our surrounding community forward. I'm your host, Antonio Higgs, and we're excited to have you along on this journey. In today's discussion, Taking You Higher Together, I welcome Carmenlita Scott of Atlanta Airport Chamber, one of ATC's strategic partners. Welcome, Carmenlita. Thanks for being here. And thank you for being part of our new digital adventure.
Antonio, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate that. If I might take a moment to make a correction, though, we're not the Atlanta Airport Chamber, we're ATL Airport Chamber. So in the area, it's a district thing. So you have the ATL Airport CIDs, okay, so that's the Community Improvement District. You have the ATL Airport Guide, and that's a magazine. And you have the ATL Airport District, which is the Visitors Bureau, if you may. Okay. So, and then we're the ATL Airport Chamber. So it's a regional thing where we're hosting the region as we cover the airport itself and then the region.
Okay. So if we can, Taking You Higher Together is a title for this episode, and thank you for that bit of information. We really did appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
So together stands out as a key word in this. First, help our viewers and listeners who don't know understand what the ATL Airport Chamber is, and after that, talk about how the Chamber brings us all together.
So the ATL Airport Chamber is a group of leaders that work collaboratively to improve the area and to ensure that the business community is able to understand that they can live, work, grow, and prosper in the area. And in doing that, we work with many other entities. So in Georgia, there are about 150 Chamber of Commerces that are part of the Georgia Association of Chamber of Commerce Executives. And all of us come together quarterly to help each other, so that if there is say a water issue in your area and someone else has an expertise there, they're helping you with that water issue. If you're having an issue keeping membership at your chamber, they can help you with that issue. But we understand that collaboration is key to any success. That, you know, there wasn't a proverb years ago that people talked about where if you want to go fast, go alone, but if you want to go far, go together. So we're all going far together. In addition to the Chambers of Commerce, we also partner with organizations like the Regional Business Coalition, and with them we work with air, water, and land, okay, and then transportation, rather, with air, water, and transportation. And then we work with the Aerotropolis Atlanta Alliance, and they're also trying to move the region forward. So we're actually looking at the South Side in general and moving the South Side forward as one unit of community leaders.
So outside of the questions that we have here, I have a good friend who's the president of the Gwinnett Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, Nick Messino.
Yes.
That's a good friend of mine as well.
So how do you all work together in helping increasing memberships and doing drives to help them out?
Okay, so Nick is also a part of, we call it GACCE for an acronym. He's also part of GACCE. So at the conferences that we go to, Nick provides information just like I'll provide information. So if you have a question at the conference and I'm the expertise in that area, I can help. Nick can help, or any of the other 150 chamber presidents that are there.
Awesome. That's good to see everybody collaborating and working together.
Oh, absolutely. So in doing that, it's not only just me trying to boost the South Side forward, but it's us trying to boost Georgia forward, because Georgia is the #1 state to do business, and collaboratively we continue to work on that.
Awesome. So developing partnerships is a cornerstone of what the chambers do, right? So talk to us about how the Atlanta Chamber's development partnerships help move the region forward.
Well, for one thing, with the partnerships, we're all working on workforce development together.
Okay.
Okay, and that's where Atlanta Technical College comes in, because you are a big proponent for the workforce development. You have programs that are for unconventional students, and so those programs actually assist with the workforce development product. And then we work with other colleges as well, and universities and other businesses. So the partnership comes in where we're all sitting at a table and trying to figure out what we need to do and how we need to get it done together. So right now, our chamber is working on an airport economic ecosystem development program.
Okay.
And the reason for that is when the pandemic started, not that it's over, but when the pandemic started, we noticed that small businesses did not have the things they needed in place to actually collect the government money.
Okay.
So we started a program to help them get to the point where they can do that. So we try to pre-qualify companies in order to get government grants. So that's where we're helping move forward. And we have, in that program, we have think tank leaders that are engineers, if you will, of the program, and they make relationships with these companies to help them. So we take the companies through a process where we look at how they're doing their banking, how they're applying for information, and then what do we need to do to help them? What are the missing pieces? We work on that in conjunction with Operation Hope as well, and the Georgia Contractors Association.
Yeah, and my understanding, I understood there was a big part of the small businesses. They didn't have the training necessary to even apply for some of those loans.
Well, they didn't have things like they didn't have a DUNS number, which is a federal number that you must have to have a business.
Yes.
They didn't have a bank account that was for their business. They had a bank account that was their personal account, and they were doing business out of their personal account, and that took you out of that running. And then another thing that they didn't have was they didn't have an HR department. So there were things they were doing with their employees that were not necessarily wrong, but they were not totally correct.
Okay. Well, glad you all were there to help them out and to help them move forward.
Well, thank you.
So why is it important for ATL Airport Chamber to be aligned with Atlanta Technical College?
As mentioned before, the workforce development piece of this.
Okay.
So you have unconventional students, and that helps with the workforce development. So many people look at workforce development as, okay, I'm coming out of high school, how do I get a job? That's not necessarily workforce development. Workforce development for me is you have a job and you want to make a change, and how do I get from this job to that change? Or I consider high school a job too, because education is a job.
It is.
So you're coming out of high school and you need to know how to get to the next step. That, once again, is where Atlanta Technical College comes in. Or you could be a college student and find out that you're actually in the wrong school for what you're trying to do. Again, that's where Atlanta Technical College comes in.
Okay. So what do you see as the biggest hurdle or success in the Atlanta region, and how do you think ATC can play a part in solving it?
I think the biggest hurdle is workforce development and knowledge, because if you're lacking the knowledge, you can't get to the point where you are a player in the workforce.
Right.
And once again, that is where you come in, because you have courses and you have programs that help unconventional students.
Okay. So before we close out, leave with us an Atlanta Tech Talk success tip.
I think that you have to make sure that fear does not get in your way. If fear gets in your way, you cannot be present. If you're not present, you cannot command the room. And if you're commanding the room that you're standing in, or the room that you're in, period, then you can sit anywhere at the table and be an essential part of the conversation.
Amen to that. Yeah, I speak about that a lot when it comes if you're not allowing it to be anything that you swallow, because if you swallow it internally, it'll prevent you from moving forward because it'll hinder you from all things that you do.
Absolutely. So, when I look at fear, I look at also fear of your parents, and I don't mean that in a negative way by any means.
Yeah, I want my boys to be scared of me.
No, no, I don't mean that in a negative way in any way. My dad always told us to make sure you had a seat at the table. So when I was in high school, I was a student council officer, and we decided we're going to have Black history in school. Our school was a 30-70 mix, with the blacks being the 30%, and we had a sit-in. So, of course, because I was a student council officer, I helped put that together, and therefore my parents received the phone call. And that's back in the day before the cell phone, not to age myself, but because, I started working at 12. So that's why I look so good. But back in the day, that's before the cell phone. And so my parents had that information when I walked in the door. And when I walked in the door, I go, "Dad, you are not going to believe what happened at school today." And I just kind of like had one foot in the door talking to him because I wasn't sure what the end result was going to be just yet. And I said, "Dad, I didn't get a seat at the table. I got a seat at the floor that's going to take us to the table." He said, "Girl, what did you do?" So I explained what happened, and then I heard behind this door this little thump, and I thought, woo, I just escaped that belt.
Thank you to our special guest, Carmenlita Scott of ATL Airport Chamber. For more information about Atlanta Technical College, please visit www.atlantatech.edu. I'm your host, Antonio Hicks, and this has been Atlanta Tech Talks.